Have you waited too long to file a lawsuit without even realizing it? A lot of people don't know this, but the statute of limitations can completely block your case, even if you're right. The statute of limitations is the legal deadline you have to file a lawsuit. Once that deadline passes, courts will usually refuse to hear your case, no matter how strong your evidence is. In most situations, if you miss that window, your claim is permanently lost. So how long do you actually have to sue? The answer depends on the type of case and where it happened. For example, personal injury claims are often limited to about 2 years in many states. Contract disputes can range from 3 to 6 years. Claims involving property damage, fraud, or medical malpractice all have different timelines, and some may include additional rules that either shorten or extend the deadline. This is why understanding the statute of limitations early is critical. The clock usually starts ticking from the date the injury happened, but in some cases it may start when the harm is discovered. That distinction can make a huge difference. For example, in medical situations, a person may not realize something went wrong until months or even years later. In those cases, certain laws may allow more time, but that is not guaranteed. There are also situations where the statute of limitations can pause or toll. This can happen if the injured person is a minor, mentally incapacitated, or if the defendant leaves the state. While these exceptions exist, they are often narrowly applied and can be complex to prove. Relying on them without proper guidance can be risky. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming they have plenty of time. Life gets busy, evidence gets lost, witnesses forget details, and before you know it, the deadline has passed. Even waiting a few extra months can create serious problems, especially if your case requires investigation, records, or expert analysis. It's also important to understand that filing a lawsuit isn't something that happens overnight. There's preparation involved. Documents need to be gathered, facts need to be verified, legal procedures must be followed correctly. Waiting until the last minute can limit your options and weaken your position. According to general legal principles recognized across U.S. courts, statutes of limitations exist to ensure fairness. Over time, evidence becomes unreliable, and it becomes harder for courts to determine the truth. That's why these deadlines are strictly enforced. Another factor to consider is that different claims within the same situation may have different deadlines. For example, if you're involved in an accident, your personal injury claim might have one deadline, while property damage or contract-related claims could have another. Missing even one of those deadlines can reduce or eliminate part of your recovery. There are also differences between filing a claim against an individual versus a government entity. Claims involving government agencies often have much shorter deadlines and may require special notices before a lawsuit can even be filed. Missing those steps can result in an automatic denial of your case. If you're dealing with something like a workplace issue, discrimination claim, or consumer protection matter, there may be administrative deadlines that come before the actual lawsuit. These can be as short as a few months, which catches many people off guard. All of this leads to one key point. Time matters more than most people realize. The statute of limitations is not just a technical rule. It's a hard barrier that can completely shut down your ability to seek compensation or resolve a legal dispute. It's also worth noting that laws can change, and timelines may vary depending on your specific situation. What applies to one person may not apply to another, even if the cases seem similar on the surface. We're not attorneys, and we don't provide legal advice, but we do help connect people with attorneys who can review your situation and explain your options based on your timeline. If you think you may have a case, or if something happened recently and you're unsure about your deadline, it's better to act sooner rather than later. Waiting can cost you the opportunity to take action. You don't have to figure this out on your own. You can speak with an attorney and get clarity on where you stand and how much time you may have left. If you want help getting connected, call now at 1-800-980-0898. That's 1-800-980-0898. Taking that step today could make the difference between having a case and losing your chance entirely.